Hey guys, want to bring you another YouTube video. So I got this on ESPN. So ESPN sent me an alert. I usually get alerts on anything Niners related since I'm a Niners fan. So obviously today was the owners meeting, and so right here you can see it's in Phoenix. The San Francisco 49ers aren't sure when quarterback Brock Purdy will be back on the field as he recovers from right elbow surgery, but they do seem to know that role will be filled when it happens. Quarterback one. So, in what it says, also, in what was usually the strongest endorsement yet for the reigning Mr. Irrelevant, Niners general manager John Lynch made clear Monday at the NFL's annual owners meeting that he and coach Kyle Shanahan view Brock Purdy in the driver's seat to be starter when he is healthy. I think Brock has earned the right with the way he played, that he's probably the leader in the clubhouse at that. Lynch said, I'll let Kyle make those kinds of decision, but I know when we talk, Brock has talked. Let's see, Brock has probably earned the right to be the guy. If we were to line up, he probably would take the first snap. So that's what we thought. Obviously, Brock, yes, he did have a great offseason. I thought it was going to be open quarterback competition. Obviously, with his surgery, right now he's projected to come back in early September. The issue with this is that is kind of a little bit of a shot and indictment at Trey Lance at this point. So this is kind of like the worst case scenario for Trey Lance. I believe, like I said, you probably see my short video when I was excited to draft Trey Lance and pair him with Kyle Shanahan. I think this is going to be a big offseason for Trey Lance as he recovers. He is the only healthy one next to Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold probably sees this. I am physically better than Brock. I think I got a chance to compete, especially you got two injured quarterbacks that's going to be recovering. I think that was a wise move for Sam Darnold because obviously you got Kyle Shanahan that could improve a quarterback. So the issue here, I think, let me go down here, where, okay, the Niners hope all along that Purdy would be able to have repair rather than Tommy Johnson construction, which would have been a year, because it comes down to a short recovery window, but they weren't certain until Dr. Keith Meister performed the operation. Lynch said he, Shanahan, and owner Jet York were in Cabo for a free agency retreat. Meister called with the news that he repaired Purdy's elbow. Remember, they had to delay this because it was still swelling after the game, which was like a month later. They let out a collective sigh of relief and entered free agency with the idea that Purdy would be back and likely starting. The timeline is not going to make sense. I don't know why you would say this. This is the same situation they had with Jimmy Garoppolo, and they thought they could trade him, and that did not fruition. And now you're not giving it to Trey Lance, which is understandable because, yeah, everyone's probably like, oh, Brock Purdy earned it. He got us this far and all that. Understandable. I think it should be an open quarterback competition. Both quarterbacks are injured. Even the healthy Sam Darnold, I would be open to it at this point. But if you're going to be building long term, yeah, I would say you're going to have to either look at Brock Purdy or Trey Lance. But you gave up a lot of capital for Trey Lance. Most of it you've recouped through the compensatory, so you actually replenish, but you don't have any first rounders or even second rounders at this point for this season. So that's where I don't know why you would say this at this point. I know you're probably thinking it. Now, the other thing down here that is interesting, Purdy is still in the early stages of recovery, working on things such as range of motion and through a 6 months recovery timeline has always been assumed, Lynch hinted that Purdy could be back a bit sooner. So that's the thing. You're hoping he's going to be back sooner, but that's the same thing we thought he was going to have the surgery a lot sooner also. So I wouldn't have said that just to give some wiggle room for yourself, because I think there's going to be some setbacks. I think like a lot of those things, timelines are just guidelines. Lynch said every person is different, which is true. But again, that's why it was different, that he was still swelling. That's why the surgery didn't take place sooner. And you're going to miss some valuable time with OTAs and stuff like that. So he's not going to be able to practice throwing either. So there probably is some amount of time in talking to the docs that you want to make sure that you get to that point before he's out there. But our hope is he's ready to go in training camp. I don't see it. I don't see how you're going to have enough time in training camp. Right here, for now, Darnold joins former number 3 overall pick Trey Lance as the only available signal callers on the roster. Lance is coming off a broken right ankle, but is expected to be cleared during organized team activities. Considering what the Niners gave up to acquire Lance, 3 first-round picks and third-round selection, Lynch knowledge, it's fair to wonder what Purdy's ascent to presumptive stars says about how they feel about him. We've always said we don't care where you were drafted. If you were drafted, that's always been our stance. Lynch said, it's what we believe in. I think both things can be true. We're still very excited about Trey, but I think the way Brock played, he probably has earned the right to be the guy. But it's certainly a competition. We'll always have that again. These are decisions Kyle makes, but I know in our discussions, this is the way we were talking. As for potentially trading Lance, Lynch pointed out Niners' continued need for depth at quarterback considering the injuries they've consistently suffered for the position. We like Trey on our team right now, Lynch said. Kyle and I always joke we trade each other if someone would give us a good enough deal. So we listen to anything, but we like Trey on our team. We're very excited about the way we progress, but about his opportunity, I think he's chomping at the bit to get out there and get back under center and be healthy again. Until Purdy returns, Lance Darnold will get plenty of snaps during the San Francisco's offseason program and have a chance to open eyes and change minds. And while Purdy accomplished what he did in just 8 starts, the Niners once signed Garoppolo to what was at the time the richest contract in NFL's history based on 5 starts. Which is to say Lynch and Shanahan believes that what Purdy showed them in his finishing flourish is sustainable. The way he played, the way he processed, the way he led. It was very impressive, Lynch said. Yes, he's done it for part of 1 year, but it's not just that he did it, but the way he did it. I think that gave a lot of confidence to everybody in our building. He earned it. Is there room for growth? Absolutely, but he has left us all with a lot of confidence. Okay, so again, he is a 7th rounder for a reason. Again, I would explore every opportunity with Trey Lance. Because, yes, I think you do need depth. But my concern is, yeah, if he is the next coming of Tom Brady, sure, I would love it. But he just took a really bad injury. Needed surgery. I don't know how this is going to turn out because I feel like if you're going to try to capitalize Trey Lance on a trade, yeah, you're probably going to want to trade him. I think the Titans would be interested in him. The Texans might be interested in him too, because we got some players out there. Like another one that might be interesting. I'll throw it out there. Maybe Trey Lance could go to New York. He could be interesting. And for Zach Wilson, I'll throw that out there because I know the Niners were interested in Zach Wilson at one point. And so I don't know if he is cancer to a locker room for Zach Wilson, but if you're going to try to trade those two, you could maybe a rehab of their careers. That is possible. So it just sounds like they're not very high at Trey Lance at this point. And like I said, I've seen, even though he played 2 games, I would say, at most, and some preseason, I've seen some glimpse that's hopeful. He just needs to be healthy and can't be banged up. I mean, he's taken a lot more injuries than expected, yes. That's why I would say you should have 2 quarterbacks and don't say you have this quarterback right now because he's injured. Both are injured. They should compete during training camp at this point and leave it at that. So, because there was interviews with Trey Lance and he said he is licking the chops to compete. And he said Brock Purdy would be too. So, it would be an interesting offseason. Go ahead, if you're a Niners fan or even just an NFL fan, let me know what you think of this. I think Kyle Shanahan is supposed to talk tomorrow morning. So that will be another interesting bit. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. It's not a very good outcome, I think, today with John Lynch. Sometimes I feel like John Lynch does not handle the press and the media very well on when he's pressed for some answers. So again, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and together we can build a better tomorrow. Thanks.